Yeah, so just hello officially today to our European community call, Ringing Cedars European Community Call. Yes, welcome Laura, welcome um, Xinchuan. I don't know if I always spelled your name the right way, probably not. I apologize for it. But yeah.
Yes, you pronounce this quite correct. Thank you.
Really?
Yes, Qijuan. Yes.
I always have to think about how to pronounce it, but when you say it's fine, then yeah, it's okay. Yeah, today we have, just to inform you about, I already told you that this session will be recorded and later posted on YouTube, but as audio file. Yeah, so today we have a little group. It's Easter Sunday here in Europe, so it is a very, very important day for many people who are Christians who celebrate today Jesus' resurrection. So a very important day. Most of the people spend this day with their families. And yes, so it is today a little, yeah, of course, on the other hand, it's quite an interesting day. I like Easter. I am not in the church, but still I like Easter because the frequency is high, because so many people yeah, connect to the divine, to Jesus, and they feel celebrate these days in a special way. So that's why, yes, I like these days very much. I will tell you later how I spend them, but yeah, I started to talk to Laura, so I interrupted Laura. Sorry, Laura. So would you like to say a little bit about yourself, or would you like to sit back, or just tell us who you are? And because sometimes we like to introduce ourselves, you're for the first time here, so would you like to say something?
Yes, I have my own garden.
Awesome.
Yesterday I planted some raspberries, and I don't know the English word, Johannisbeeren.
Oh, I forgot it too.
And I'm very interested in family homesteads, and yes, I spend a lot of time in nature and with animals and in my garden.
Mm-hmm. And how did you find? Did you read the Anastasia books? Probably. Did they inspire you? How did you find them?
They inspired me. My aunt gave them to me years ago, and I read them all. Now I read them again with a friend, and we are at number 5 now. Who are we? Yes.
And what do you think about the books?
Oh, I try to say it in English.
Yes.
I think they give a lot of mood, courage, oder?
Courage.
And Zuversicht.
Yeah.
And
yes,
I think it's a very fantastic solution for many problems on the earth. To build family homesteads.
Yes. So yeah, you're familiar with the books and you are reading them and they inspired you. So yeah, did you planted seeds and did you work in the garden before or just after the books?
Before as well. I learned something from my grandmother. She had a big garden and planted a lot of vegetables there.
Awesome. Well, you are very young, and it's beautiful that young people yeah, are active and do gardening and got inspired by the books. I think it's just wonderful. How old are you, when I may ask you?
I'm 29 already.
Really? Oh, I thought you were like 20. You look so young.
No.
Oh, it's cool when someone looks so young. Really awesome. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. And yeah, so thank you for your little introduction. Would you like to say something more? It's just enough for a moment. Just feel free.
For the moment, it's enough.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have Johanna again. Hi, Johanna. How are you?
Hi, Agata. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine too. We have today Easter Sunday, very important day, as I said before. But yeah, I'm not in the church, so I celebrate it on my own way. But I still like it very much. And you, what are you doing Easter? What have you done? Austria is quite Catholic as well. How are you with that?
Yes, I'm not in the church either, but I like to celebrate it my own way. And well, I've been working the whole last week with guests on a farm. They wanted to go riding, and I went horse riding with them, and it was nice today too. And now I'm free in the evening.
So do you ride? Do you have a horse or?
I don't know. I don't have a horse by myself, but my neighbors have horses, and yes, I visit them sometimes or help them out when they need help.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you like it?
I like it, yes.
Yeah, I like horses very much too. I have a big love for horses, and I also don't have my own horse, but I love them, and I was thinking about having a horse, but it's so much work and so much, I don't have the time, you have to really take care for the animals. So yeah, but I love it, and I go for holidays.
I definitely will have some in my future kin domain. Just need to find that place.
Yeah, now you are.
Where are you from, Johanna?
I'm from Austria.
Ah, okay.
Where are you from?
From Germany.
From Germany.
Yes. I saw Laura's face and I thought she is probably from Germany. She looks like German people. Well, I am not. I live in Germany. I've lived here, as I said before, for 20 years, but I was born in Poland and grew up in Poland, and then I moved to Germany, and I love Germany. I really like it here, and I feel happy here, and yeah, I don't want to move anywhere else. I love to travel, and I love to see new places and to visit different countries. This is really awesome, but I want to stay here. That's how I feel it today. Maybe in 5 years or 10 years I change my mind. I don't think so, but at the moment I really like it here. But I like Austria too. I really like Austria. I go very often to Austria and to different parts. I have friends in Vienna who I visit. Love Vienna, beautiful city. And also the countryside, the Alps. And yeah, I think this is beautiful here where we live in this part of the world. Of course, there are everywhere beautiful places, and everywhere there are nice people, and you resonate always to the right people. And yeah, so it's good to feel well where you live.
Where from Germany are you, Laura, if I may ask?
I live near Stuttgart.
Ah.
Yes.
And Laura, how did you find our community call?
From Telegram, from the kin domain channel.
Ah, okay, I see. So you are on, I posted it, yes, exactly, and you are on this one, yeah. Yeah, this is why I started now, because with posting these invitations on Telegram group. So we want to create here in Europe a bigger community. We want to connect the Ringing Cedars readers and people who are interested in kin domain settlements, and yeah, not only that, but also people who are spiritual, who love the ideas Anastasia is telling about, showing us. So yeah, not only for people who want to live on their own kin domain, which is of course beautiful, but not everyone has the chance to do that at the moment, maybe. So yeah. How is your garden, Johanna?
My garden is, well, not growing yet because it's very cold, and even the wild herbs are only that little. but I already planted something in the garden, and it has grown.
Okay. How is the weather today? How are the temperatures today in where you are?
But it's in the plus grade. It's maybe about 5 degrees Celsius, and yesterday it was rainy and windy and wet and cold. And the days before it was very hot. It had 20 degrees plus, and that was like, that's too warm for that time in this area.
Yeah, we also had some nice weather a few days ago, but yesterday it was cold as well, but not that cold. I think about 10 degrees it was like that. Today it's better. I spent time outside today. I was in nature and it was really awesome. And I also started with planting vegetables, and now they are starting to coming. Yeah, so I see a little leaves already, which makes me happy. And I have, of course, my tomatoes still here inside because it's too cold. I started too early, and now I have to tell them every day, don't grow so fast. Stay a little bit, yeah.
Well, you see, my tomatoes and pumpkins, I've only planted the seeds 2 days ago, or 1 day ago. I don't really know, because in this area, in 800 meters in the mountains.
800 meters? You are on 800? Yes. Wow.
You can't start earlier.
Do you like the place where you are, or do you like to move somewhere else in the future? How do you feel about that?
I like the place, but I think I prefer to move somewhere other in the mountains, but in a very similar place, but maybe more a bit more on a sunny side of the hill, and not on the north side of yes, where there's almost no sun in winter time, because I want to grow the plants in the garden, and that's difficult when you have always wet surroundings and everything is wet, and tomatoes don't like that, and I like tomatoes, so that's difficult. But there are other plants that grow well, so.
But you want to stay in Austria?
I prefer to stay in Austria, yes.
Yeah, that's great. That you feel well where you are in your country, and yeah, it is a beautiful country. Definitely.
Maybe a bit higher in the mountains.
Even higher?
Yes. I don't mind the cold. I love the snow, and that's what I really want.
Do you go skiing?
I go skiing, yes.
Are you good in skiing?
Well, I've been skiing since I was a little child, so and my father was a skiing teacher, so I think yes.
You're quite well, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I also like skiing, but I'm not as good as you probably, but still it's fun and I like it. And, yeah. How about you, Laura? Do you like the place you are, or would you like to move somewhere else?
I like the place very much where I am, but I want to travel, and I also would like to see the kin domains in Russia. And that's an aim of me, that to travel to Russia.
Yes, me too. I also decided that I will want to go to Russia and see also the domes, you know, and the King's domains. And I have a friend in Moscow, and she offered me to travel with me through Russia, and she speaks very good English, so I would have a translator, which is of course, yeah, very, very pleasant.
Right.
I don't speak Russian very well. I don't actually speak Russian at all. I understand a few words, of course, because, you know, I speak Polish and the languages are not that much different, but still it is different, yeah. But I could maybe with my hands and feet, I could communicate somehow, but it's better to have a good translator and a guide. So yes, now I actually wanted to go there now in June, but the situation doesn't allow it to go there now, but I want to go there as soon as it's possible. And I hope that, yeah, this war will, yeah, come to the end soon. Maybe not that soon as I thought it would, but yeah, let's see what.
I know that a lot of those Kinderman settlements in Russia do welcome people that want to visit them, because I was there in 2019.
Really? Tell us about it.
Yes. I was near Yekaterinburg with a group for a week on a settlement. And then we moved to the Baikal Sea and Baikal Lake. And then I also moved to Gelenchik, where also the Shetinin Schule is, and I was able to visit it, and it was so beautiful.
Oh, tell us about it. Why didn't you tell it before?
You didn't ask. It was a place when I came there, and I stood in the center of the place because they built it all themselves, the children and the teachers. And I stood there and I thought I could stand there forever. It was just so beautiful, the energy there. And they have in the middle, they have a place with wooden floor outside, and they have some trees where they built the wooden floor around them. It's great, and I think they do some dancing and some of those classes or performances there. I'm not sure about it. I saw it in videos too, that place, so that's where they dance and do martial arts. And then I was able to look into some classes, but I only for a very short time because I didn't want to disturb them. I was like, show me everything you want me to show. I had a teacher showing me around, and he spoke German. That was great.
Oh, cool.
And but I didn't want to stay longer than when he moved. When we went into a class, I tried to absorb everything as quick as possible, and I didn't like to ask to stay longer, because it's when I was in school, it was always an interruption and disturbing when someone visited and looked at the children in school. It was like
exhibition.
but I like the energy. And when I went through some of the buildings, they had huge paintings on almost every wall, and they painted it themselves. And there was a painting of one of the mountains of the biggest mountain in that area. I'm not sure how it is called right now. Maybe it will come to my mind later. And it was like standing in front of that mountain when looking at that painting. It was so beautiful. And well, everything was beautiful there, from the energy and how they made it. And yes,
So
what
inspired you.
told me about the school, the teacher, and in the end I presented him a painting I made with a little poem I wrote, because on the way there I had time to think of what I want to give, because if you visit somewhere and you don't want to just take everything and leave nothing. I thought of, well, everything I could buy also, they wouldn't need it, and I don't have that money that they would be able to use, so that much money. And so I thought, well, if I make something myself and it's something of my energy, I think that's more worth than just a little takeaway gift or something. And so I thought of a poem and
Wow.
finished the
Beautiful.
painting, and yes.
Beautiful. So that was a gift from your heart and from your soul,
Yes,
which is
it was.
more worth than anything else, because it was, yes.
And those are the gifts that are most valuable to me, when I get something someone made themselves and I have put energy in it and time and thoughts.
Yes.
And so that I thought that would be the best to give, to present them.
And how was it easy to get to the school, or do you have to have a group to visit them? Because the school is closed now, isn't it?
I think it is. It was always closed and open, then closed and open. I think now it's closed, and as far as I've heard, the teachers have found other schools where they work now, and they continue with what they do. Yes, it was this, that whole journey was like being in a flow, and everything came so naturally when I was there. I always had the dream, and
say it again, because you were frozen. You are frozen somehow.
Do you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you again, but you were frozen for a while. So please say again that it was natural, it was a flow, and then you were gone.
Oh, yes, the whole journey was like a flow, and I was with a group 2 weeks and then a week on my own, and where I stayed on my own with couch surfing. She was a friend of a dolphin trainer, and I always had the dream as a child to or the wish as a child to swim with dolphins. And when I visited her, I told her about that, and she said, oh, my friend is a dolphin trainer, and she made an arrangement, and in the end I was able to swim with dolphins. So wow. Everything turned out like all came together, and I didn't have to do anything like I had to do those steps, but it didn't feel like work or like
you were guided.
Yes, it was just like swimming around and it was great.
Okay, so then you decided to visit the school. Did you have to make an arrangement, or did you just go there?
Yes, I was lucky to have a contact, because the leader of the group already visited that school, and she gave me the contact of a teacher, and then I was able to, I called him and wrote an email to him, and I tried to just go with my feeling of when I was supposed to write, and what I was supposed to write, and well, I had to write back and forth and try to remind him, because they if you really want something, you will get it in life, but you have to well, not give up too soon.
Yeah, that's true. We have to stay persistent, on our dreams.
Yes, you don't have to. You have to be persistent, but you don't have to give up too soon. But you don't have to force it. And I somehow was able to connect into my inner guiding, and to know when it's the time to let him time to respond, and when it's the time to ask, because it was a limited time. I wasn't there a week after that, so I had to make that possible, and it was like it was meant to, and yeah.
For sure. So the way how you speak about it, I feel the same, that it was just your destiny to go there, to see it, to meet these people. Your soul has guided you.
And I also saw a film about the school before I read the Anastasia books. And when I was looking at, when I was watching it, it was like, I want to go there, but I'm too old now. Why didn't I see that 10 years earlier?
Interesting. Yes. That's how life is. When we want something, we have our dreams, and as you say, to force it is not a good way to get too attached is not good either. So just have a dream, stay persistent, but trust also. Yeah,
but yes, I know that they have a cooperation with someone in Germany, and I'm not sure how they work out the cooperation now as the school is closed, but as I've heard, they are still doing something in that way. I don't know. And I think it's called ISKA Academy. ISKA Academy. So it's something about sport and well, all that connected. And I don't know the meaning of those letters by heart, but you can look it up, and maybe I can send it to you later.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that they are still doing something, because I thought it was completely closed, but you said that before they were closed and opened again, reopened. So
they always had problems with the like government things and all this paperwork, because they built it all by themselves, as far as I've heard. I'm not sure about everything, if it's true or not, because you hear something and then you hear something different, and then you hear a translation of something and you never know for sure. But as I've heard, they had problems because they built it themselves and they didn't have the proper plans of how they you have to have some plans of the building before you build it, or something like that. I don't know. And because they did everything themselves, they didn't have all of that or something, or I don't know. Something was not like the government wanted it to be, and that's a problem if you don't always go with the laws. I think they go with the laws, but well, not everything, every step. Yes, you know. If you don't,
I know what you mean. Yes, sure. They yeah, but it's interesting to know that they are still doing something, and of course the teachers, they are still there and they still have the knowledge, and they can do it also maybe in different places with other children and other communities. So yeah,
I think if you work on something and you are really behind it, when that place where you used to do those things, it's no longer there, you will find other places and you will continue because your heart is there. And
exactly. Yes,
that's something they give to the future generations. And I spoke to some of the teachers. They drove to the place where I was and took me with them back, so I didn't have to take the bus. And I talked to them, and it was a great, I don't remember everything we talked about, but it was just a great conversation. And you feel that those people have so much knowledge in them and so much wisdom, and they just think differently than normal people about life. I mean, I've met more and more and more not normal people now, and I'm continuing to meet people that think differently, and I think they are getting more and more, and it's beautiful, and I like that.
Yes, sure. It's always who we resonate to, and I also observed it in my life that when when you change, then everything around you is changing, and you meet different people, different events, different situation, and that's how life is. And of course, people who love Anastasia books and are on similar frequency, they will find each other. Though not everyone has to like everyone and have to be connected to everyone, because these books, how I feel it, they are so deep, and they pick us up on their frequency we are in, and we resonate to different topics. Not everyone is interested in the same things, but it's okay. We don't have to be all together on one settlement, and there are different directions, and it's okay. Everyone is free to choose and to live how they want. Yeah.
Yes, and then you have people that never read those books, but they live like it is almost like it is described in the books. And I think that's beautiful, because they are connected to somehow to their inner knowledge, and it's there, it's inside the people.
Yeah.
If you listen to your inner guidance, it will guide you there.
Yes, exactly. That's how we all are on our spiritual journey, and some people begin later, some people begin earlier, and some people come to this life, to this incarnation as children, and they already know, they have already clear vision what they want to do, how they want to live, and you cannot change them, so yes, we are all on a different journey, but yeah. Laura, would you like to say something? You are so quiet, or you prefer to listen? We want you also to have your voice. If you want to add something, just feel free.
At the moment, I don't know what I want to say.
You don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Maybe I can ask question.
Oh, hi. Beautiful.
Hi.
We can see you. It's awesome. Yes, of course.
Yes.
Join our conversation.
Yes, usually I prefer to listen, but I listen to Johanna's experience, and I'm very interested that I would like to know is their business in that King's domain. What does they doing some business?
Are you there?
To me, you're frozen. So can you repeat that question? Now I can see you again.
Yes, you are frozen.
Okay, sorry. My question is that I'm wondering is any kind of the business is running in that's Russia's King's domain.
If there are any businesses, how people live, you mean? If they create businesses? Yeah, it's a good question. What did you see there, Johanna, when you were?
Well, when I was near Yekaterinburg at this settlement, Yekaterinburg is a rich city, and most of the people worked there and lived on the kin domain and tried to create more their space, and then move there. But I know from the leader of the group I was with, she was near Gelenchik at the settlement, and they lived from their settlements because they didn't have work that was paid that much, and they really tried to figure out everything themselves on the settlements, and they had houses built where she said some people from Germany thought you cannot go into those houses because they will break down, but they don't break down. It somehow works, and I haven't been there, but I know that some of them, where I was, they buy cedar nuts from, I think, from the McRae company, and then they produce oil with their own wooden oil press. And we were able to taste that oil, and it was so delicious. It was even more delicious than the oil I bought from Germany, but Russian oil that was sent to Germany, and so because it was fresh there, and I could have taken a whole bottle and just drank it because it was so delicious. It was so fresh, and yes, and he sells that oil, and also they make some art, some like those, I don't know, if you have a piece of fabric that is woven, and like you put it around your head or your waist, something like that, and other little things they make themselves, and they sell that. Or one family was there, they had already established a lot of a lot different things on their place, and they had animals too, and they lived like about 70 to 80% of their vegetables, and also bought food from the city that wasn't vegetable or self-grown, but they needed something to buy something additional. But in the summertime they lived from their vegetables, and it was different, and also the how the people are in Russia was different, because in Germany you say you only start something if you know how to do something and you have planned everything out, and in you have to do it that way or that way. And in Russia it was like the only rule was that no animals got killed on that place, but everyone was allowed to eat whatever they like on their domains, and everyone was allowed to do it like they feel like they want to do it. And some have built a house, but almost nothing in the nature and garden place, and they will work out that too in the upcoming years. And some have started with building plants and have a small house, and that's great too, and everyone is allowed to do it differently, and that's great, because in Germany it's often not that way. And just like, yes, that's good and that's good as well, and it's just different, and that's such a beautiful state of mind, I think, to allow, yes, to think that way.
Yes, I also think it's so important that everyone can live freely, you know, no rules and no dogma that you have to do it this way or that way, or I know it better and you have to do it like I tell you to do, because, you know, it's all like tyrants, you know, they tell people what to do. Allow everyone to live as they want to live. And also in the books, Anastasia didn't really give any strict rules how to create the settlement. Yeah, she gave some ideas what to put on it, and some water, lake and wood, but there the great thing is that everyone can be creative and can create out of their heart.
Yes.
And create something personal, yeah.
And that was beautiful in Russia, because they just have another, I don't know, state of mind, or how do you call it in English, I don't know. And also they just start. If you want to do something, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning. You will figure your way out, and that state of mind with just start. And if you have a house for 10 years and nothing else, and you feel better, then that's great. You will figure out the other steps. And or if you have a tent and are able to live from your garden very soon, and you don't have a house yet, well, that's great. If you feel comfortable with that, just start.
Yes, exactly. That's a very important point, and I think it's good that you mention it, because there are many eco-villages or settlements where people create them together, and they put such a strict rules, and you have to follow rules, otherwise you're excluded, you don't belong to that. I mean, if people like to live like that, it's fine too, but I would prefer to be in a place where I can do whatever I want, yeah, and to live how I want to. So yeah, freedom is a very important thing to me.
Yes, and that's also a thing why I think those family kindomains, are, well, they have a value than places where random people live together, because if you are in a family, you will figure out your way in that family to do things, and you will have the connection to stay together because of the family. But if you're random people and you disagree about this and that, and it's difficult to stick to the project if you argue with each other, and you don't, well, if you have people come and go, then it's difficult to establish something beautiful, I think. And if you're in a family, well, there are difficult times, but if you really want to create a space of love, you will go through those difficult times with your family together and make it work somehow. And
yes, and I also
I don't say that it's bad if they like it that way with random people, and so, well, then that's great for them. It's just different. It's a different value to me, and I wouldn't choose that.
Yes, and I know there are also people in Germany and in other countries, European countries, who created their kin's domain, but they don't live in these settlements, that they are creating like villages together, but just that they have their space of love, and they live on there, and they have their garden, and they make it beautiful, they create something. And it's good too, because I think it's all allowed and all is fine. There are people who love to be in bigger communities and love to create something together in bigger groups, which can also be interesting and good for your personal evolution, because there are also difficulties, there are always challenges when many people come together, and they have to manage it, they have to deal with that, and it can be also helpful for evolution. But if someone prefers to have settlement or kin's domain just for themselves, then it's great too. So I am not that strict that it has to be on a settlement where many people are together, because not everyone likes it. Both is good, both is fine, but there must be freedom for everyone. We have Nikos. Hi Nikos, how are you? Nikos joined us a little bit later. Hi Nikos. Nikos is from Greece. We cannot hear you, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself? In the corner, we can't hear you. You are muted. Just press or I try to unmute you maybe. I don't know if I can do that.
Now it's better.
Now we can hear you. Hi, Nikos.
Hi. Good afternoon. From Crete, from Greece. Nice to be with you. And you know, here in Crete we have a very strange weather. Come from Africa, a lot of dust. Anyway,
Okay.
so we stay home. We stay home all the day.
Really? So much dust,
Too much.
everything red, isn't it?
Yes, all over the area. You know, we are very close to Africa, so we suffer from this.
Do you have often such
wind.
things? Do you have it often?
Yes, yes, yes. Especially in springtime, comes all the Sahara Desert comes to Crete and all over Mediterranean.
Sometimes we have it in Germany too. We had it a few weeks ago and everything was red, you know, sand, red sand, dust everywhere on your car and everywhere, yeah?
Yes,
so
yes.
I know it, but not probably that often. We have it maybe once or twice a year. It's a little bit more far away to Africa from Germany.
Yes. Yeah, we're very close. We're very close. So I welcome everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice to be with your company.
And you're fine, yes? You're doing fine?
Yes, yes. If you stay home, you're okay. If you're out, you can't work so well, you know, in the garden. So we prefer to stay home.
Yes, and how? Yes, yes. How long will it stay? 1 day, 2 days?
2-3 days, they say. 2-3 days.
Okay, okay, I see.
This is the weather here.
But otherwise, the weather is already good, isn't it, on Crete? How are the temperatures?
Yes, yes, it's good weather. 13, 14, a lot of wind. This is the idea.
So did you start already with your gardening?
Yes, we start now. It's also a period for us, you know, very high-speed period. We have to run. We have to run because to put everything in order. The beginning is the most important, you know. So you start planting non-stop. Every year we, how to say, we improve our harvest and our techniques about bio garden.
Beautiful.
Yes, we become wiser. Every year you see what mistakes you make last year, you try to change them. So it's okay. Every year we're going better. We grow together with our garden.
That's evolution. That's called evolution.
That's evolution, yeah. We have to be very, yes. We focus and we are very, how to say, concentrate. We concentrate on this. If you concentrate, you know, totally there, then every year it's better because, you know, your small mistake.
But you're lucky with your weather. With weather on Crete, you have good weather. You can do a lot of things. The summer is long.
Yes. Yes, we have two harvests. Actually, we have two harvests. We have one in the winter, one in the summer.
Wow, awesome.
We grow up all the year, but not by the seaside. By the seaside, it's desert. You can do only winter.
Okay, it's too hot.
By the seaside, it's too hot. Yes, for 35, 40 degrees, so nothing grows up. Only up in the mountains.
But you're not that close to the seaside, are you?
No, I live in a village up in the mountains. This is the village of my parents. So I live here. I acclimatize here. It's a small village with 70 people, mostly old. So if you like, how to say, to be alone and to be isolated, here it's perfect place.
Oh, I like to be isolated, actually.
Yes.
Sometimes I like to see people, but there are times when I want to be alone.
Yes,
so a perfect place because you're lucky man.
Yes, I mean, it comes step by step, you know. At the beginning I didn't like it, but by years, you know, if you are young, you know, you have other pictures, images in your head.
You want action.
Yes, you want big cities. You have these pictures of the big cities. But getting old, getting wise, growing, you know, you realize that here is your place. So I grew up in Athens and in Heraclio. So now the last 20 years I live here in the village of my parents, and I think that I born here in the village actually, because all the big metamorphoses it happens here. All the big, changes in my life.
Okay, amazing.
Because yes, because here is silent, and if you work with yourself, you have enough time. You don't have any temptation. Come here, go there. So here, it's the real place to grow up. To transform yourself, to become a better, to look within, inwards.
May I shortly interrupt you?
Sure.
I have only time until now to join this Zoom, so I would like to say goodbye. And I want to ask you, Agata, if I can listen to the recording of what I don't see now later.
Yes, sure. I don't know if you have seen, we have a YouTube page, we have a Facebook page, so it will be on YouTube, but you will need, you can, if you want to, you can connect with me on Telegram and I will send you all the links. Otherwise, I can post the links here as well, what you want. But when you...
I would like to connect with you on Telegram, but
yes.
Your account is hidden there. I cannot write.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why. So maybe I will put on the chat here my email address. You can email me. Can you see it?
Okay,
And
yes.
then, because all of us other have the webpage, and then I will send you all the links about our community, and then you can join just what you want to join. And then also on Telegram, send me also your Telegram name, then we can connect. It would be wonderful. I would love to connect with you.
That's great. Okay, thank you for everything and have a nice conversation.
Thank you very much, Laura, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you and hope to see you again, and that's great that we stay in contact. Have a great afternoon.
Yes, I hope to see you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes. Yeah, Nico, so you are a lucky man, live in a good place. I heard that they had, in Greek, there used to be a lot of cedars, trees. How is it in Crete? Do you have cedars at all or not? Or are there no cedars?
We call them cedar, but it's cedar from Lebanon or
It's
from
different.
islands. Different place.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It's specialized for this semi-dry climate.
Mm-hmm.
They can grow up without water, without
Mm-hmm.
irrigation.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of them. Yes, especially some islands, some areas, but not everywhere, because here it's 3% the forest in Crete. So we have some places,
Mm-hmm.
some isolated places.
Yes, but
they are interesting.
You can also eat the nuts and everything.
No. They don't have any nuts.
Okay, so it's just...
We call it cedar, but without nuts.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We call nuts, when they have nuts, we call them pinus.
Yeah, exactly. Pin, yeah.
No, the female of pinus. See they call. So for us, it's a little bit complicated, because the female of pinus, pinion tree, we call it, they produce the nuts, similar with cedar. So
yes.
The official name is pinus.
Yes, I see.
And the cedar is totally another tree without any, but the wood is the best wood in the world, let's say. Characteristical. And it can't last forever.
Yeah, that's even in the Bible, the King Solomon, he built his temple from cedars, and I think he brought them from Africa.
Lebanon.
Yeah, Lebanon. Yeah. So that must be a holy tree, very special tree.
Yes, it's very expensive also. The most expensive. I have friends from Israel. They told me it's the most expensive tree all around the area, in Middle East.
Okay.
Because they cultivate and they sell it until now.
And do they also grow so slowly as the Siberian?
Yes, it grows very slowly. It's not a fast tree, fast growing tree.
Yeah.
Do you know the Latin name? Because the cedar which Anastasia is talking about is actually a Pinus sibirica. So are those cedars Cedar or a cedar, or are they Pinus? They might be cedar.
Yes, I don't know the Latin name at the moment. I can find it, but no, it has nothing to do with this Siberia.
It's a different tree.
Nothing to do. It grows up without water, without
Wow.
irrigation, in all the islands, in all the small islands in the Aegean Sea. So it's totally another thing. Yeah, but we call it cedar. Cedar. It's similar to Lebanon.
Yeah, I was wondering about it, how it is. Now we know more. Thank you, Nikos.
Several types. Several types. We have, like, for every tree we have, for example, we say that for acacia we have 100 different varieties. I think it's the same for cedar. We have 100 different varieties all over the world.
Yes, yes.
It's not the only one. It's not the only one. Also for olive trees, for every tree, it's
yes, sure.
Pine tree.
Yeah, so now you can't do anything in the garden because of the sand. You have to stay inside. Is it easy for you?
Yes, you can. Yes, now we cannot work anymore. We stay. We have a break, and because it kills everything. It's what, where the sun goes. If it blossoms, especially the olive trees, it kills them. So you have to be very careful. It's not an easy. It's not an easy period.
Yes.
Do you have a garden where you live?
Yes, I have my garden, my olive trees, and I'm a farmer. As a spiritual, but since 20 years now, since I came to the village. I didn't have other choice, when I came to the village, so I became a farmer. And then I have to use a technique, and then I read about the books from Masanobu Fukuoka, the Japanese, guru of natural farming. Masanobu Fukuoka.
I don't know.
He
Tell us a
developed,
bit about him.
yes, he developed natural farming.
Ah, okay.
All the Anastasia communities in Ukraine, in Russia, they use this method, natural farming. All of them, because it's a natural way of nature to work, to function. So he understood, he devoted all his life, although he was an agriculturalist. After he retired from university, he devoted all his life, 40 years, 50 years, in his own farm. 40 years in his own farm to discover the natural way of farming, how nature goes, the natural mechanism. So after 40 years, we write a book, The Revolution of One Straw.
And you read the books and they inspired you, or how was it in your case?
Yes, I read the books 20 years ago, before Anastasia. And then I see that he was totally connected with her, totally, in all. And then he came several times to Greece, this man, because he has Greek followers here. And he'll teach us how to, because his first question is working up, he was doing all his life after he finished university, he graduated, he was doing chemistry, let's say the conventional way of farming. And then going to the forest, like how we have this forest 2,000 years old and grows up so well, and all the trees, they are so healthy without any help. And now we try to garden the plants, and everything is sick. So he has this dilemma in his mind. So he wants to solve it. So he stays in his land, in his private farm, 40 years.
Wow.
To develop his way of farming, his way of, to understand how nature works, And then what was his conclusion? We learned it. Because he was a master, especially for the fruit trees. For the garden, he was using compost, but for the fruit trees, no compost. So what he did, he said it needs 50% forest trees and 50% fruit trees.
Okay.
So there is no need for there's no more disease, and there is no need for fertilizer to spray and everything. This is like a paradise. It's a natural phenomenon. If you put half and half, because the forest trees, they create an atmosphere, a bioclimate, how you call it, a climate.
Yeah, bioclimate.
Bioclimate. So it helps the fruit trees who are weak, to grow without any insects, without any disease. And you have no need for water them because the humidity in the space comes from the forest trees. And they protect also the forest trees, they throw away, they keep the balance between the friendly and enemy bacteria. They keep the balance, different type of blossoms and the perfume and everything. So it's the ideal, he says it's the ideal percent, 50% forest trees, 50% fruit trees. So my friends already do it in Saloniki, in other part of Greece, and they are 100% successful.
Oh, cool.
Yes, but you have to leave half. You have to leave half of the space. The conventional farmers, they don't want to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
To leave 50% space for the forest trees.
For forest.
So they have to spray 30 times a year. If they have apples, or if they have apples and mandarini and whatever. All the
Can you
fruit trees.
tell me his name again?
Could you, or write down in the chat the name of this man? That would be
I'm not good in it because I have a tablet. I tell you, Masanobu. You have to remember these words. Natural farming is a technique.
Okay.
And his name is Masanobu Fukuoka. Natural farming. Masanobu Fukuoka.
Okay, we will find it when we Google natural.
Yes, you Google will find, because there is only one in Japan. Only one. He was totally against the big companies and the industrial farming. Totally. He was a father of natural farming. He didn't call himself biofarming because in biofarming you put fertilizers, you put compost. Compost, whatever.
Yes,
He never put compost. He tried through natural method to do it. But, when I was reading the books of Anastasia, knowing very well about farming, I tried to find, the new secret from Anastasia, the new ideas in farming. Always it was a challenge for me. So when I read that all the communities from Anastasia, they use already this method because it's well known all over the world now. This method, for the people, they love nature. And I like it because his key work, it was biodiversity. If you have one farm, you need biodiversity. You put 50% forest trees, you put also flowers, and so you have a garden, you put flowers there. And what happened with the flowers? The flowers, because you need all the year, all the flowers, you need all the year, non-stop blossom.
Blooming.
So all the year you have the good insects like bees.
That's
so
awesome.
That's why it's very important to have all the variety of flowers, because every month you have a new blossom. You start from daisy, from margaret, from belladonna, all the different. So if the flowers are blossom non-stop in your garden, then you have all the bees there.
True.
So you have the bees all the year. You have no enemies. They keep the balance. They eat the enemy bacteria.
Yes. Very wise. Yes.
Very wise idea, So now we plant all over, so different. Anastasia Also, he say in the books about your garden, about the King's Domain, that you need 200 to 300 biodiversity of different flowers and different, trees. The key. So I understand it's the same.
And now
It's
you,
nice.
yeah, Johanna wanted to ask.
Anastasia also says have at least half of the land forest land, or three
1/3 or something.
2/3.
1/3, yeah.
1/3.
Yeah.
So
1/3 is about 400
that's a lot,
trees.
but if you plant fruit growing plants in the forest, you can do that. Then you have plants that will last for more than 1 year, and they will provide food for you even without you doing something. And if you only put on vegetables and so, you have to do, those are only annual fruits, so you have to do a lot to put a lot of energy into them to have some fruits coming out of that, and it will only be possible in at least a bit warmer climate than where I am.
Yes, you need a greenhouse.
Yes, and I've just bought a book called White Garden, so forest gardening, and
Yes.
there's the same idea behind it, to plant bushes, trees, or other plants that live more than 1 year, because you don't have to do as much and they will provide food for you. And if you
perennial plants. Yes.
Yes, and if you know what plants you have to use to get that food, then you will be able to live out of it. And
yes, I tell you something. All my friends, they implement this method of Fukuoka. They mix the trees. And the beloved tree of Fukuoka was acacia.
Mm-hmm.
Acacia, we have 100 different types, Japanese, Greek, whatever. So they mixed acacia trees, mostly of them, they mix acacia trees, not forest trees, only acacia, with fruit trees. Anastasia, the new idea is that she said in the books that the design, you don't have to mix them. It works the same if you put 1/3 of forest trees in one part of the King's Domain, and then you have another part. It's going to be your, how you call it in English, fruit trees.
Yes.
Another part. So you don't have to mix them, because the energy of the forest, small forest, it works.
Goes there.
It goes there, yes. It's enough for all the place. So no, Fukuoka was mixing that, His method was to mix the trees one after the other. So I understand Anastasia was right, because also in your garden you cannot put, if you have big trees, you don't have any, you have a lot of shadow.
Yeah.
You don't have any sun.
Light, yeah.
Yes, any light. So Anastasia was totally right. So I think these small mistakes of Fukuoka, I can clearly see. And also the most beautiful one is the fence, the living fence. This was amazing,
Yes, I love it.
I absolutely love the idea of that living fence. It's great.
We didn't know, but now I can see from my village, because in some farms here in my village, it happens, naturally, their abdomen, and they have a living fence. So beautiful, the feeling that you are protected and you are there and protects all the place for insects, and you see the energy is different. The energy.
We do have a fence out of fir trees, but they are cut down, so they built a hedge something like that, and they don't grow that tall because we cut them every year or every 2 years. But even that, it's you have some trees around you, and not only yes, on fence. And I would prefer to have more variety in that fence, because it's not just my space where I live in my garden. I can't decide everything I want to do. I have to ask my family.
Yes, the neighbor.
Yes, they like some ideas, but they don't like others. So I just try to stick with those ideas they also like. And
very well done, because I guess there's no reason.
We have to find a compromise. Yeah.
Yes. So the most interesting thing was, I was 20 years in this natural farming, many years.
So you are very experienced. You learned a lot. We have to do another session where you tell us about your experience, and everyone else can learn from you,
Yes, but I think so too. Yes, I'm going to do it. So, I'm more theoretical. So what I want to say is that when I read the book in English, the 10th book of Anastasia, the number 10, Anasta, it was very interesting for me how he described, because the people, from the community in Russia, they ask her to make a design because they need help for their farms. So Anastasia and I noticed that the man who translates the book in English, he was not a designer, landscape designer. He was totally failed in his translation. In order to translate the 10th book, if you are not landscape designer, you cannot do it. Really. I spent hours and hours, try from English. I didn't get any sense. It doesn't get any sense because the man, he couldn't understand, what he means by that. Totally, because he was out of the subject. If you are out of the subject, if you are not specialized, you cannot translate. It's everything. It's terminology, let's say.
Yes.
You cannot imagine how is the design, up and down. So I asked my Russian friend Yana, who translates the books, and together we translated word by word, and I see how great it was, the design of Anastasia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you can see now, because everybody was, from our point of view, we love design, landscape design. So for us, we're waiting for something like that, because we know that it's the number one problem of the humanity, of the world, landscape design. Nobody can do it. Everybody try, but very few can do it. Like Sepp Holzer, the Austrian one. Klaus.
I don't know the Sepp Holzer, but I know his son. I've visited the farm where he lives, and his son now works on the farm.
Yes. You know him, Libon.
Yes.
Him. Well, very well, because there are very few in the world that can do this job. And Anastasia used to say that the future job is, landscape designer, farm designer.
Interesting. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Planet, because everywhere, everywhere is desert, and you have to transform the desert to fertile, land. So you need all your effort. There are few people that do that. So, take all the information from Anastasia and this and that. Now I'm getting better. And the Russians, my Russian friends, Yana and Vladimir, who they live here nearby, they told me that he's specialist in biofarming, Vladimir. They told me that only in St. Petersburg, they have 5 magazines, weekly magazines about farming, biofarming, and 2 radio stations.
Wow.
About farming, non-stop.
Amazing.
Yes, amazing. Yes, I didn't believe. That's why they are so advanced,
And what can you say out of your experience? What is the biggest challenge? What is the biggest difficulties for someone who want to do it like this, natural farming? What is from your experience?
Well, my experience is that what I see with my friends, we have a lot of friends here, with the farming, is that it's like the kid's domain. The first years you have to wait,
to see the results.
Also, I read it from the Russian kid's domain. The people, they say, in order to harvest, you need from apple tree, you need at least 10 years, orange tree,
yes.
you need 7 years. So you start and you wait. It's not one day to another. So you have to be, and it's not something that I realize that, everyone does his own way of farming because he has his own ideas in the head,
Yes.
So it grows different. So the Russian does a different job. The Greeks, they done a totally different job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking. The Indians in India, they do totally different. The African, totally different.
Yes.
So I realize everyone has his own technique developed, and you have to start from the beginning. And you have to be next to somebody who knows, but then you have to start from the beginning, and you learn from your fail.
Yes, and you learn from your experience, from your mistakes, yes, and from everything.
Mistakes,
yes.
For your mistakes, exactly. So it needs time, and you have, but it's amazing. Now I notice that, for example, this year, after 20 years, I notice the difference to eat from your garden, vegetables, and from your friend's garden, from a foreigner.
Oh, good.
Yes, it's amazing for me. From a foreigner garden, they have no taste. So for me, it was a shock to realize that Anastasia, she was right, that the plants, they have emotions.
Yeah, that's really huge. And look how you evolved, how you advanced. This is a great wisdom.
Yes, I can feel it. I can feel it because I'm vegetarian, and I can feel, don't smoke, no drink. So I can feel it in my lung, in my tongue, the different taste. What's better and not.
That's a huge achievement when you can feel it, smell it.
And notice that in Creta, in Greece, we have phrases that the foreigner, the neighbor's grass or fruit, it's more tasty.
Yeah, we have it in Germany too. The green is greener, and then neighbor's grass is more green.
Yes, because this is, a mind approach. Just because it's temptation, because you are zealous. But in reality, it doesn't exist. Only if you see the neighbor and he has full, let's do it. But it's a mind. It's only intellectual,
Yeah.
In reality, if you are connected with the earth and with the nature, you see, it does work. It's better. Mine, it's better.
Yes. I've experienced the same in my grandmother's garden as well. The fruits I have from there, they are so delicious, and so I really love them, and I can't compare them to anything I buy from anywhere because it's an absolutely different taste. It's like worlds difference.
Yes, exactly, because the plants, they have emotion,
Yes.
You go there every day, if you go there, then you are like one of them. You are the soul of the...
Connect to them and speak to them, you share the energy, exchange.
Yes. So you can see, if you are sensitive, you can feel everything, what happens there, easy by easy. So what I can say, that it's a process, and you have to build it up every year, the connection. The more you are connected with the nature. Now, a friend of mine who has a greenhouse, I asked him last year, he has a greenhouse and he sells all the products. Let's say it's an intensive work, and, farming. He said, look, how you deal it? Will you go every day you are in the farm? and you'll observe the plants,
Mm-hmm.
and you see, and they speak to you. If they need, nitrogen, if they need potassium, if they need calcium, you know, kalium,
Yeah.
whatever they need, they say to you. Because if they need to grow up, they need nitrogen. We call it nitrogen, something, you know. If they want to have more fruits, we have potassium. We need potassium. So you have to be there, and every day, and I understood that he was right. You have to, every day you have to be there, and you see what they have, what is, they have lack, you know, how you call it, what you
Yes.
lack,
Yeah.
what they
What
need,
they need.
what
Yeah.
they need, what they need. So you have to be there and to be aware all the day that, oh, here's a problem, it's a disease, or, and then you have the, and then you take, you know, you have everything in your, let's say, in your house, and then you take care, you know, and in
Mm-hmm.
that, and then you speak with your friends, what to do, what not to do. So you have to be there all the day, and it's not just you plant and you go away. This is the main idea. So you're after it, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's easier. You know, you're aware about what happened all the whole summer,
Yes.
because it's not easy. Now we have this, for example, now we have this problem with mushrooms. How you call it?
Yeah. Fungi.
Snails,
Mm-hmm.
snails, and you have to. You know, I don't use any chemicals. I don't want to kill them. How you call them? The small ones. And they eat everything, and there are thousands. So you have to put away one by one to put away, you know, and or to have to find a way, natural method to eliminate them. So always you have disease, you have weather, you have
Challenges.
challenges. Yes, this. So you have to be there. Anyway,
I've been visiting a little farm, a small farm last year, where the woman was growing and developing her garden for the last, I think, 30 years, and she also had problems with snails, and she collected them, and then she figured out that the snails only go there where there is rotten food, and there are problems, and they don't go there where the soil is very nutritious and the plants are healthy. They just don't touch the plants. And then she now she works a lot with compost, and she has the compost really for, depends on what compost, 3 to 10 years of the being able to compost the thing, the materials, being able to compost, and then she puts it to the soil, and she has no problems with snails anymore. I've been there, I've worked there, and you almost see no snails, and it was like, where are the snails? I'm missing them because they aren't there. And she also says you don't have to use dung from animals because the snails will go there. If you use that, you will have to compost it for about 7 to 8 years, and then it will be nutritious soil. But if you use the dung from animals, fresh dung, the snails will go there. And the snails are like those worms. They used to be seen as something that's not good, but the worms are good. We now know, Regenwürmer. We now know that they are good for the soil and for the plants, and the snails are good too. We just don't know what they are good for. And you know, the slime they produce actually has some, I don't know what, but it has something the plants need to
grow.
To something that's nutrition to the plants. And if they only go to plants that are not healthy or not healthy for us. And even if we think, oh, that's a good salad, but the salad is maybe not as natural as, they don't go on wild herbs where there's nutrients and that's really good for us. And the salad is gezüchtet, I don't know the English word.
Is contaminated or?
Well, men took salad seeds and they then only selected some of them, and then it's not that connected to its origin salad forms. And if we plant it in the garden, if it's weak, if we will eat weak plants, it will weaken us more than if we eat healthy and strong plants. If we eat healthy, strong plants, it will give us more energy and nutrition.
Yes.
Sure.
And so they eat those less healthy plants for us because they try to help us and also help the garden and the environment. And if you see it that way, it's different, and you have a different connection to the snails. And also, yes, they select weak and strong plants, and they, while growing through the area, walk. Yes, they don't walk, snailing through the area. They produce slime, and that slime has something that the plants need to grow better. And
that's really a new point of view. I never saw it like that. That they eat the weak.
Marco, what you say, it's okay, and I believe it also. They play a role in the environment, in the nature. But the problem is if there are too many, always this is a problem. Also
yes.
with enemy bacteria, if there are too many, then we have no more balance,
Yes, that's a problem. But when I was in that little small farm, she says she has snails like everywhere. And then from one year to the next, there were no snails at all. And the only thing she did, she just continued to put more and more of her own compost into the soil, and the plants grow stronger. And because of that, there are no snails. And she also has, she doesn't have just one sort of plant and then one or other, but she has mixed them, and that helps too. If you have a row of salad and then a row of carrots and then a row of whatever.
Yeah, very, very interesting what we are speaking about. And I would, as I said, it would be cool, Nikos, when you tell us more next time, when you have time, about your experience, because it's so interesting, and inspiring, and we can all learn, and it's being recorded, and later also other people can listen to it, and you can share your knowledge. That would be wonderful. When you feel like that, of course. When you feel ready, then you say, today I want to talk, and when not, just feel free, no pressure.
Yes, no pressure. I mean, when it happens, we're here and somebody's interesting, ask questions.
Yes,
it comes, spontaneous.
Yes.
To me, it was really valuable. Thank you.
Yes, very, for me too. Very interesting what you were talking about, and I'm sure you have much more knowledge to share.
Yes, I have, but this is a vast knowledge. I don't know everything.
Of course. You see. Feedback is very positive also on chat, so you take it with you today as an impulse, as an inspiration, that your knowledge has a great value, and we want to hear more from you. Okay, I think we're coming to the end today with our session. It was wonderful again to have you all. It's always amazing, it's always different, and I love this calls because I get so inspired and uplifted at the end of them, and there's now so much to contemplate on, and also with the snails and all this, that they are all in nature and they can all help us when we keep it in balance. Yeah, that's the point. Keep everything in balance, then nature helps us. Okay, so thank you very much for being with us today. Wonderful. Let's stay in contact. Have wonderful Easter. We have here Easter. But yeah, nice. Even if you have no Easter, you're somewhere else, have wonderful evening and enjoy, and thank you for being with us. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.